Alrighty, welcome to the video, and in today's video I'll be taking you through a training routine I've called Spring Loaded, and that is because it's a lower body focus routine to help with your running performance so your legs feel powerful and springy. Now, this routine can be performed once a week, ideally on the same day as one of your workouts, such as threshold sessions, tempo runs, or long runs for example. Perform 2 to 3 sets of the warm-up exercises at the beginning of this routine before moving on to the main working sets, which are broken up into supersets. So you have two options: either perform each exercise in a circuit from the first exercise to the last and then repeat that 1 to 2 more times, or you can perform each given superset 2 to 3 times before moving on to the next superset. If this is your first time performing this routine, start with a light weight on the weighted exercises and increase the weight over time as you adapt. All the best, I hope this routine helps, and if you haven't already, please like and subscribe to support this channel. Cheers mate! Safely unrack the barbell from the squat rack, placing it over your shoulders. Stand nice and tall and perform a slow, controlled calf raise, trying to focus on keeping balance the entire time, with a slight pause at the top of the movement to fully contract the calf muscles. Place your heels on a low elevated surface such as the pair of dumbbells that are shown in this video. Now lower down into a deep resting squat position where the back of your thighs are now resting on the back of your calf muscles to alleviate the tension on the thigh muscles and the hip muscles and allow you to feel a comfortable resting position. Now from here we can play around with different mobility exercises as shown in the video. The first movement, I place one arm on the opposite leg and then leading with the elbow, reach up to open up the rib cage area and abdominal area, doing this on both sides. We can also perform simple thoracic rotation where we place our hands around shoulder height and then just gently rotate from side to side, trying to find any tight areas in our upper body. And then we can also stretch our feet out from this position by leaning forward, placing our hands on the ground and rolling back and forth, placing our weight through our toes to stretch the base of our foot, resting our heels on the dumbbells between every single repetition. Now these are simply just options that you can test out and try while in this resting position. There is no right or wrong answer here. The idea is to simply search for tight areas in your body and mobilize them while utilizing this deep resting squat position. Establish a strong hinge position before lifting the bar off the floor. Ensure that your entire posture and muscles are engaged before the bar leaves the floor. Now from here, grip the bar with a strong grip, maintain that posture, and focus on pushing your feet into the floor, generating force from your feet through your legs, maintaining that strong torso position, right up into a full standing position, and then return to the floor, maintaining posture the entire time. If you need to have a slight rest at the bottom between repetitions, then do so. The importance of this movement is maintaining that strong posture every single repetition. Using an exercise step or another low to the ground solid surface that you can jump onto, perform these light hopping movements, landing light on the forefoot on each landing, swinging your arms in this pendulum motion to create more fluidity of the movement, focusing on keeping the movement light and playful. If this is too difficult, simply perform the hopping movement stationary on the floor. Now you can think of this kettlebell swing like a fast-paced deadlift. So as we lower down into the hip hinge, we pull the kettlebell between our legs and bring it behind the body, and then we generate as much force as we can, starting at the feet. We push them into the floor and we push our hips forward, squeezing our glutes as we raise up to this upright position, bringing the kettlebell up to shoulder height. Now the importance of this movement is trying to focus on generating the force to the hips and not through the shoulders. So we are not lifting the kettlebell up, we're using this pendulum swing and this momentum of the movement to keep this fast-paced tempo while loading the hips and the hamstring muscles on the way down. You should feel a stretch in the back of the thighs and then fire those hips forward, creating a nice powerful contraction through the hips to keep the kettlebell moving. So focus on your tall posture the entire time and a focused, controlled, powerful swing. Using a box or another solid object to land on, find a height that you can confidently jump onto. Now for technique, we perform a hip hinge by leaning the torso forward, loading up our hip muscles and bringing our arms behind our body. As we jump, we push our hips forward and we bring our hands forward at the same time, leaping off our legs, and we're trying to hold a squat position in mid-air. So being as confident in our technique as possible, and we want to almost feel like we are gliding temporarily before we land on the box, and then we step down safely. So trust your technique and keep your knees as elevated for as long as possible while you are in mid-air throughout the jump, and this will allow you to land higher and safer in the squat position. Keep a tall, strong torso as you perform this hip hinging motion, actively pulling the barbell in towards your legs as you guide the barbell down the legs, staying focused on your stability on each leg, swapping legs each repetition. Starting in this tall standing position, we hinge at the hips and we reach down to the ground with the hand that is on the same side as the moving leg. We aim to get our torso about parallel to the ground at the bottom of this position, and then from there we return to our standing position by jumping off our stationary leg as we drive the knee up on the moving leg, and we bring the opposite hand forward now into this runner's stance at the top of the jump, and then we land lightly on our forefoot as we land on the ground again, and we go straight back down into our next repetition. Establish a strong hinge deadlift position at the bottom before performing the jump. Now select a light weight to start with, and over time you can increase the height of your jump and the weight of the kettlebell. Now jump out of this bottom position, generating power from the feet through the thighs and the hips, maintaining tall upright posture, and then landing softly on the forefoot, softening through the knees, transitioning your weight to the heels as you lower down into the squat, and then jump straight back out of that bottom position. So we want to keep this constant rhythmic fast tempo throughout, always landing light and maintaining posture.